Now, the FBI stood up at the White House and said there were tens of thousands of videos. Then the FBI went on Joe Rogan's podcast and said there's nothing there. Yet the FBI is still reviewing tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with hundreds of victims, and not one victim's identity will ever be released. It's just the volume. That's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that, yet I haven't seen a single statement on the progress. In this video, you're going to see exactly why Joe Rogan couldn't find words after that podcast episode. You're going to see a real document sitting on the Department of Justice website right now that names the Kardashian sisters inside a Maxwell case victim complaint. You're going to see why Paris Hilton snapped and pointed her finger straight at Kim. You're going to see what Ray J was actually talking about when he said the words federal RICO investigation on a live stream. And you're going to see how Kris Jenner's whole playbook starts to look very different once you zoom out. So let's actually get into it, because there's a lot here. The Rogan retaliation. I know most of my viewers know the basics, who Epstein was and what he did, so I'm not going to repeat it to save everyone's time. However, if you are a lovely new viewer, I recommend watching my previous videos on Epstein. Joe Rogan said no to Epstein, so why is he in the files? Let's start by clearing Joe Rogan's name, and this is something that might surprise you. Joe Rogan's name is actually in the Epstein files, but not for the reason you think. Back in 2017, a physicist named Lawrence Krauss, who had been on Rogan's podcast, tried to set up a meeting between Rogan and Epstein. This was after Epstein's 2008 conviction, after everyone already knew what he did. Krauss reached out and tried to make the introduction. Rogan's response? Quote, "Are you high?" He followed that up with, "What are you even talking about?" That was it. Hard no. No meeting happened. Rogan later said, "I'm in the files for not going." He saw the red flags before most people were even paying attention. Contrast that with people like Bill Gates, who kept meeting Epstein after 2008, or Reid Hoffman, the LinkedIn co-founder, who appears over 2,600 times in the files. When Rogan says the government is lying about those tapes, it's coming from a guy who had his own personal moment of sizing Epstein up and walking the other way. He has zero patience for anyone who pretends there's nothing to see here. The government said tens of thousands of videos, then they took it back. This brings us to June 2025, when Kash Patel, now the director of the FBI, showed up on Rogan's podcast and basically walked back the transparency everyone was expecting. Rogan didn't hold back. He called it gaslighting. He pointed out that people like Pam Bondi and Patel were demanding the client list be released until they joined the administration. Suddenly, there's no list, no videos. Case closed. Rogan thinks the cynical perspective is that at the highest levels, it's all being controlled by money, a compromise organization where you give powerful people access to things they shouldn't have and use that as leverage forever. The DOJ victim complaint. This is where the Kardashians enter the frame. I want to be upfront. What you're about to hear is from a victim complaint filed in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. It has not been proven in court, and the people named have not been charged. But the document is real. You can find it on the Department of Justice website. The complaint alleges that Maxwell had a close relationship with the Kardashian sisters and that they helped use the complainant's identity. It goes further, referencing pregnancy, surrogacy, and claiming eggs reused for pregnancies without consent. It even cites a specific cosmetic transaction tied to Kylie Jenner and a $600 million deal. Now, some of this is messy, the grammar is rough, and the complainant admits they don't have all the documents. But here's what stands out. This document connects Maxwell, a convicted sex trafficker, to the Kardashian family. Maxwell went where money and influence went. Rogan's theory about the compromise system, give people access, then lock them in, doesn't require you to believe every detail of this complaint. It just requires you to ask, how did the Kardashians get access to every elite circle in Hollywood, business, and celebrity culture? Who opened those doors? Kris Jenner's access economy. Here is the theory that keeps circulating. People are asking, what exactly was Kris Jenner's strategy? From the outside, her playbook was placing her daughters in relationships with the most powerful men available every single time. That was the pattern. People are now asking whether that pattern, giving young women access to powerful men in exchange for influence, wealth, and status, looks different from the structure of an access economy that Epstein was convicted of running. There is no official documented connection between the Kardashians and Epstein's island. What exists is a pattern of elite connections. The family's rapid rise happened during the exact period of Epstein's 2008 plea deal. Their lawyer, Alex Spiro, appears in the Epstein files. Names like Diddy and the Kardashians keep overlapping in the same circles. These aren't random theories. They're patterns that led a victim to go to the DOJ and put it in writing. Paris Hilton snapped. Then there's Paris Hilton. When the latest Epstein files dropped, Paris's name was in there. According to insiders, that was the moment she went into survival mode. She reportedly asked, "Why am I the only one being publicly destroyed when Kim Kardashian was right there with me?" Kim started as Paris's stylist and assistant. She was in every photo, following Paris into every elite circle, including those connected to Epstein's network. Paris watched Kim get famous and become a billionaire while quietly distancing herself from that past. Insiders say Paris is done covering for her and now is talking to investigators. Meanwhile, Kim's response has been lawsuits. She went after Ray J after his live stream where he said, quote, "This federal RICO, though, I'm about to drop on Kris." Ray J called Kim's lawsuit a PR move. As Rogan said, when powerful people go quiet, it's not because there's nothing there. It's because there's too much. Kim has been distancing from Paris, cutting ties to Diddy, and cleaning up records, but her name keeps surfacing. Somewhere in all of this, according to people close to the story, there is a folder with Kim's name on it. Whether it ever becomes public is the only question left. So I want to know what you think. Do you think these files are being buried? Do the Kardashian dots connect for you? Drop it below. If this video gave you something new, hit the like button and subscribe to News Island. We cover these stories straight, no fluff, no filler.